All right, so let's look at some solutions. Remember, the gases that we want to focus on are carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, or N2O, and methane. All of these are important. We want to, a lot of this is common sense, right? So carbon dioxide, renewable energy resources, reducing fossil fuel, increasing our efficiency. We talked about this in our energy unit, right? Forestry is important. The more trees we tear down, the less carbon dioxide they're going to sequester. And so we need to worry about deforestation, making sure that we replace what we tear down. Smart growth, use of public transport. Upgrade power plants, make them more efficient. Carbon sequestering, I'm going to talk about that in a minute and show you a little bit more about what this is all about. Basically taking carbon dioxide, let's say from a coal-fired electric plant that's coming off the point source, the stack, and finding a place to put it so it doesn't go in the atmosphere. Emissions trading, this is an interesting idea. It's called cap and trade. Basically you say, all right, all of you industries as together can emit this much carbon dioxide. Well, if company A doesn't emit very much and company B wants to emit more, you can provide an incentive by trading these kind of selling these ability to produce more carbon dioxide, one company to the other. And so this has been an effective SOx reduction in the U.S. Divestment, fee and dividend, fining, things like that. And I have to put this on there. Green spaces, the restoration of green spaces, because we don't want to just think about how much carbon dioxide is going into the atmosphere. We also want to think about changing how much carbon dioxide we take out of the atmosphere. Did you know that the tiger prairie, when it becomes a completely mature prairie, will actually absorb more carbon dioxide from the atmosphere than a forest? Because if you think about it, you can walk through a forest, there's lots of trees and everything, but grasslands are very dense. And so they have lots of foliage and grass absorbing energy and all of that. I hope we get out there a lot this next month. It is just booming. It is beautiful. One of the things that I love about the Tiger Prairie is that not only is it a model for conservation, but it also has some real life practical applications, because we know in Texas we're going to see some interesting climate effects. So let's look at those now. In Texas, it turns out that based on our own governmental climate change report, we are going to be facing heavy rainfall episodes. These are not ones that necessarily are created by tropical cyclones or hurricanes, but those are also expected to increase. Dry periods will exist, so we're creating alternating wet periods and dry periods. And the management of this drought and flooding, as we've experienced, we've been through this in the city of Katy, is dependent upon local governments to take care of this. Also, along the Texas coastline, sea levels have risen 5 to 17 inches over the last 100 years. Sea level rise along the western Gulf of Mexico during the remainder of the 21st century is likely to be greater than the projected global average of 1 to 4 feet or more. So Texas is really experiencing climate change today. Pocket prairies are being looked at through the Harris County Flood Control District as a way of absorbing water in times of heavy rain. Remember those long roots, all that water gets absorbed deep into the soil. Or in times of drought, the plants just don't need to be watered. Their roots are so deep, they can withstand that heat. They've evolved to do that. And so in Texas, we would benefit from more prairies and restoration of green spaces. I wanted to also here, let me get rid of that so it's not a little bit more about carbon sequestration, because you hear a lot of people talk about it. The idea behind carbon sequestration is that we're going to take the carbon dioxide that we produce, let's say from a power plant, just find a place to put it. Maybe we put it down in the ocean. Maybe we put it in some kind of like reservoir or a big cavern underneath the soil. It right now it's not the most practical way of doing things because gases take up a lot of space and we make a lot of them. But it is something maybe technology will evolve and we will be able to change that. So on the test, remember that you will be asked to understand what causes climate change, right? Which is the anthropogenic introduction of carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide into the atmosphere. What are the effects of those? We talked about that in your infographic, your big picture infographic about climate indicators. We talked a little bit of detail about some. And then, what can we do about it? What can I do about it as a person? What I buy, what I eat, what I drive, all of those things have an impact on how much of those greenhouse gases we put into our atmosphere.